Good evening, everybody. On tonight's big program, you see below me two fine gentlemen. It's Carson Metaxas of 3D Joe's. It's Brian Sauer of Codename Iowa. We're going to talk about the Art of G.I. Joe Omnibus Kickstarter. Joe Colton, of course, with me in the top row. I'm Mike Irizarry. We'll be back in just a few seconds. Enjoy the theme song. Yeah, see, I'm not even drinking tonight. Look what happens. So anyways, it's Friday. It's 9 p.m. Welcome to What's on Joe Mind. You are in the TeamStream. As I said before, my name is Mike Irizarry. I'm your host. With me here in the top row tonight, because we got too many guests going on for her to hog all the attention in the bottom.
I kicked the honcho out.
It's Joe Colton, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi, guys. Happy Friday.
Joe Colton, how's your week been?
It's all right.
Better week than last week? You were frazzled last week.
We're kind of, this week's kind of interesting. We might be going to war, so whatever.
Oh,
fine.
No big deal. We're used to that by now.
It's a Tuesday. It's fine.
Normal stuff.
I'm good.
Good. Mark is on assignment at the WWE Royal Rumble in St. Louis this weekend. So, not that he's actually going to be completing anything for us, but he's on assignment. We're going to use this term.
Go do something.
That's what we're going to call it, right? We're going to call it on assignment.
Who's he wrestling?
I believe he is entrant number 23. That's what the money says.
Yeah. The card says he's also going to throw his hip out right before he gets in the ring.
Sounds about right.
Right.
That's
and in the bottom row, you see our two guests this evening. They are both here to talk about the Art of G.I. Joe Omnibus Kickstarter project, or it's a little anticlimactic in some regards, but we got lots of neat content for you all the same. Carson Metaxas and Brian Sauer are here.
What's up, guys?
Thank
you for having us.
Carson, of course, is well known. Brian, this is your second visit, man. How about that?
Is it just twice? It feels like I've been here forever. Like it's always here. Like it just dredges on.
That's not good.
No.
The last time was such a drawn out experience that it felt like you never left.
I know. No. It's great to be back. You need to come back on. I need to come back more often. I think
it's probably just because you're tuning in every Friday night and listening, so these guys feel like family.
Exactly. That's exactly it. I know. Looking at that intro with the old photos from Joe Con was like, oh, geez. I was trying to remember too, like when I first met Carson, which is like funny enough, I think it was 10 years ago.
Yeah, I think it was probably my first show, 2012. I would think.
Yeah, it was. What was it? Indianapolis, right?
Indianapolis 2013, and New Orleans was 2012.
I believe so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I met you in Indianapolis 2013.
Yep.
And you had the is that when you had the minimalist series? Were you doing that yet?
Yeah. Yes,
that was the first. And then I tried to go trade you my book or whatever for a series of your posters.
How'd that work out?
Didn't that work? We traded something. I thought.
Yeah. No.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's how Brian and I first got into a relationship together. We're in a relationship.
You bartered.
And, I respected his work and he respected mine, and we traded. So it was a good start of a good friendship. It's collegial.
Nice.
And a good way to not pay for stuff.
Yeah, exactly. No, bartering has worked, for thousands of years. Okay, we don't necessarily need this.
Why not?
If I could barter somebody for my mortgage, I would.
Right.
Right.
If only the bank needed some graphic design from you.
I know.
Here's a cow and 2 dozen eggs, please.
Yes, exactly it.
Absolve this house payment.
But yeah, so Brian he worked on volumes 1 and 2 with me back in the day, helping out with the image restoration. We kept the design pretty simple, clean, and minimalist, and so he didn't engage in that way. But as we worked through the books, I was like, Brian, once these books started to sell out, I'm going to do a hardcover, man, and I want you to come in and help me from a design perspective, just really blow it out, make it tons of fun. And so that's what Brian's here to do.
Yes.
So so it's one of those where, like, I'm not going to do any work on this for this time, but when the time comes to actually have to do something and put sweat equity into it, then it's going to be all on you.
Yeah. So I think
you're saying there,
Brian,
and it has to be an insane level, right?
Oh, it is.
It doesn't want it to be like, I like a nice casual thing for Brian. It's like,
yeah. No, we're really gonna get into it. I'm gonna put him in a figure 4 and pin him until he gets it done. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, it's not like Carson's been slacking for 10 years. I mean, all the photos, all the restoration, the constant updates, the buying everything under the sun or getting it for a minute to photograph it,
And Chad is the unsung hero as well. Yes, I got to give a shout out to Chad Huckle. We 1 or 2 volumes, we tried to track our time so we would be able to accurately relay to people how long does this stuff take. And we tracked it. It was 400 to 500 hours of restoration time per book. And there's 6 books. So that's easily, 6, 12, 18, 24. We'll just say 2,500 hours, right? And then when we got done with volume 6, we decided we weren't happy with volumes 1 and 2. So we redid that whole thing over the last 2 years. Reshooting, rescanning, re-editing, and so there's another probably 800 hours of redoing that. So I'd say we're at least in the 3,500 hour range here, just me and Chad just doing image restoration. So I'm thinking Brian's going to at least put a couple thousand hours on it this year.
Here's a question from the crowd. Is Carson doing a buyback on his original volumes?
Brian or Neil, I will take you up on that. I'm not saying I'll do that for everybody, but I would love to have a couple 6-volume soft covers, double slipcase boxes. So I won't buy individual issues, but if you have a full set and you want $200, we can work it out.
Oh wow, okay. So
I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding. I've only got 3 of those sets to my name, and I wish that I had a couple more just for posterity, friends, family, whatever. So yeah, Neil, reach out if you really want to sell it, but maybe wait until December when you get the hardcover and make sure that it feels like a replacement, that you don't need the soft covers anymore. Because there's something about the soft covers, even though volumes 1 and 2 are going to be completely redone and much better assets, I guarantee that. I think some people are going to miss those 6 AccuFoil covers. You know what I mean?
Right.
And being able to pull that box apart and slide the issues out and lay them flat on the table and push the pages down. It's just going to be a different experience with the soft covers than you have with this hardcover. That's going to be truly massive. So
it's only got volumes 2 through 4. Come on, Neil.
Sorry, Neil. You're SOL, buddy.
Come on, Neil.
No.
So let's put a pin in the Art of G.I. Joe talk for just a second.
All right.
We do have some news this week we got to get to first. We're gonna bring you guys along for the ride because that's how it works here. Nobody guests for free on what's on.
You get tortured.
Good. We crack the whip. Oh wow, Joe Colton, you're just gonna relent?
Yeah.
Let him do the noise.
Well, Carson's visiting, so gotta let him do the sound.
It's the good old days, man. I'm back in the saddle.
Right. A year and a half of hosting a 2-bit slime show. It's good to know it didn't all go to waste.
Right.
So first news item.
Love it.
Is this item.
So excited about this.
If you missed the recent Skeletron Kickstarter, which, if you remember, funded in just over an hour and a half, and unlocked about 24 stretch goals during its run in October, never fear. Skeletron will be opening its backer kit pre-order very soon, and fans who missed out will be ordered to order the Fearsome Red Shadows craft or any of its extras. Fans who caught on early will also be able to add to their initial orders. One item which will be new to everyone in the backer kit is this Gyre Wolf figure. The Gyre Wolf will feature the likeness of our friend Gary Head, who is known as Gyre Viper in several message board communities, as sculpted by Boss Fight Studio lead sculptor Fred Ascon. The character will be available in both 4 and 6-inch sizes. All proceeds from these figures will go to benefit the family that Gary left behind. And that's
awesome.
Yeah, just a wonderful gesture, and really cool looking figure too.
Yeah.
Gary always had a little bit of evil genius in him, so casting him with the bad guy body is probably
Perfect.
something he would have enjoyed quite a bit.
I love his signature goggles.
Yeah, and so not only does it come with those goggles on the loose head sculpt, but the helmet emulates the goggle iconography in the glasses with like another tampo of yellow on the red. It's a beautifully executed figure, a super nice tribute to somebody that was so impactful in our community, man. Just like contagious enthusiasm for the brand. When Gary talked about this stuff, people listened. When he posted on Facebook, people responded and engaged, and he was just a hugely charismatic figure in our community. So it's awesome to see.
I was gonna say, I don't even think Codename Iowa would be around if it wasn't for Gary and his support early on and what we were doing and with Assembly Required and everything like that. And it's hard to believe that he's no longer here and he's not able to see all this that's going on. But no, his memory will live on forever.
Yeah, the 6-inch version of the figure is in the backer kit at $35. The 4-inch version is at $25. So both of those are available. Skeletron will be opening its backer kit sometime soon. There have been a few that have invites that have already gone out. They're kind of beta testing it to make sure that their whole menu of items is available to everyone and everyone can purchase. And so it should be open to everyone, maybe even in the next few days. I don't have a time frame on that. If you need to know more about the Skeletron projects, you go ahead and check into them on Facebook. That's where they seem to put most of their information. Just head to Facebook, type in Skeletron, you'll see the logo. It's pretty distinctive. Like you'll know when you'll be there.
Mike, if you've got a second,
there's Ben Conway in the comments. All Kickstarter backers have their survey.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say I got mine at 1:16 a.m. This morning, I believe.
I was just thinking I was special. I was hoping that I was in that 5%. So
no, you're not a 5%er. I'm sorry, that happened earlier in the week.
That's.
I was gonna say you're special, but not in that way.
Yeah,
right.
Well, not that kind of.
Oh, you special, all right.
I mean, honestly, too, like they know they're not going to send it to the broke guy.
Yeah.
he won't hit any of the buy it now buttons.
Pre-order opening for all this weekend. So there we go.
Nice.
There we go. Ben, thank you, Ben, for tuning in. We appreciate you jumping on there and helping us out tonight, filling in the details. And again, everybody can find the folks at Skeletron directly on their Facebook page. Would be the best place.
Cool.
So next news item. So we're letting Carson do the noise, and now we're not letting Carson do the noise.
It was in stereo.
Yes.
Oh, look at that!
All right. So according to the surveillance port, a sharp-eyed shopper found this figure and put images online. That is Walmart's 6-inch retro Baroness.
No way! It's already out.
Yeah, in California. The site says the cardboard backing to the new 6-inch figure is the same thickness and quality as the 4-inch retro Joe line that was out last year. So good luck if you're looking to keep one mint on card.
Good luck.
Yeah, if these are making the rounds. There's even I've seen in a couple places on Twitter. So I don't know where to attribute those images, so I didn't use them. But just side by sides, and there are some real subtle differences. This new figure is it's the same figure, it's just cut and polished a little differently, and there's fewer gold highlights and things like that. So
yeah, she's almost monochromatic, all black, but they did touches of like dull and touches of gloss to differentiate between the different layers of kind of clothing and armor.
Yeah, they were saying on Fan First Friday that it's a matter of just different types of plastic or different cuts on the plastic. They polished some of them up and left some of them with a matte finish. So it's not even it's no paint at all.
Wow.
So what I'm curious about is that a stand that is over to her side over there, the opposite of the gun. That big,
that's a good point.
Nice blob right there.
Is that a stand, or is that just like a trick of the lighting kind of thing?
I don't know. I kind of looked at a couple photos, and everybody's taking them pretty head on, and I haven't seen anything with the stand. So it would be something.
I think that might be a stand.
Talking about on the right.
Yeah.
On the right, very far
bottom right corner.
Yeah,
sandwiched against the wall there.
Yeah.
That'd be great if they were coming with stands,
wouldn't it?
Really thin though.
Yeah. Well,
suppose they won't say her name.
I mean, for what, $13?
Yeah, maybe.
You're getting a pretty high quality figure. I'm not going to complain about the quality of the stand.
So that's not
no, that's a $20 figure right there. That's
Is it? I don't remember the price point on those.
Yeah, it's the classified, so it's going to be
up 25 maybe.
Yeah, with the price hike. Who knows? I just bought bats today for $20, so
yeah. It's emulating Hector Garrido's art, his pose certainly, but it's all new artwork.
Yeah. Yeah, it's based on
nice.
You can see in the other image there on the back, they've got Lady J is visible as well. We know that the other two figures are Gung Ho and Destro, but those are blacked out in the classic back of the card way. That whole coming soon bit.
It almost looks like Lady J does have her VHS camera, her camcorder.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Wonder if they'll switch up the accessories. We'll see.
I don't know.
That would be because they didn't tease any of the accessories. We don't know for sure if they're going to do anything different. I mean, we can tell by looking at this Baroness right here that they didn't, put her traditional rifle in with her or anything. It's definitely not a rule that they're going to go back to the vintage style weaponry.
No. What's on top? Is it 2 sidearms?
Yeah, it looks like 2 pistols and her glasses.
Okay. Oh, that's what that. I was like, what is that? All right, that makes sense.
Yeah, this one's pretty. Gear-wise, it's pretty close to the one that came with the bike.
Yeah.
It doesn't have that snake wrist blaster thing. But as far as the guns go and the pistols go, it's about the same.
I needed that snake wrist blaster about as much as I needed that bike. So I'm happy to see this re-release. And I bought the other one. I'm not completely trashing it, but I'm happy to see this one.
You really like that bike.
Do you?
You liked that bike.
If you're gonna do Akira, do it right.
Right.
That's all I'm gonna say.
That's the first thing I thought when I got it in hand. I was like, did they just steal an Akira bike?
I mean, but not
completely
really right.
Yeah.
Not well.
It's all right. Yeah. It's fine. It's a good effort.
If you're going to be inspired, be inspired by quality properties, right?
That's true.
Correct.
That's true.
And then, of course, item number 3. It hasn't been quite as busy of a news week as it was last time around. But this little project going on Kickstarter.
Oh, yeah.
Crickets.
Oh, I want my money back.
Right? Small thing. Can you believe it hasn't even been a week, though? We launched this thing on Saturday.
Yeah, I am going to go ahead. Wow. I'm going to read the totals off of Kickstarter right this very second. I'm just letting the page refresh. Currently, 1,589 backers for a $215,750 total pledged towards a $35,000 goal. And we still got 9 days to go. This is good until February 6th. So, yeah, Carson, this funded for you guys in what, hour and a half?
So it was interesting. I was getting ready to create one of those promo graphics where you say funded in so many minutes, right? And of course, I looked at my friend Ben Conway's graphics that he had created for RoboSkull, and I believe we beat RoboSkull by 3 minutes. So take that, RoboSkullers. No, it was incredible. I had never, I've been doing this for 10 years now. This is our 7th Kickstarter, and it's been a slow build the whole way where, we've got more backers every time, and we've got a little more money every time, and new people coming on board each time, and a lot of return faces because we delivered on what we said we were going to every time. And so I knew that there was a lot of demand for this because I get people reaching out to me about the soft covers. Hey, are you going to reprint those? And every time I'm like, no, because we're going to redo volumes 1 and 2. We're going to do it better. And we're going to do this hardcover. And I'm going out and I'm gathering interviews, and we're just going to make it bigger and better in every way. And so, but for the last couple of years, I've been fielding those requests. So I knew that there was some pent up demand, but good Lord, man, I did not ever think we would have 1,500 people that wanted to go in on this. The last time we peaked at 420, and I was feeling great about 420. We raised $47,000 to print volumes 5 and 6. I spent $58,000 because I created that $17,000 slipcase that was just a free bonus item for everybody. And but then, you know, I had extras left over and I more than made my money back. But the point was, I was feeling great about 420 backers in 3 weeks. Here we are 6 days into this, and we've got over 1,500 backers. Like, we're going into Star Wars territory here. We're gonna knock off the most recent Star Wars book, which is amazing and by good people, and I backed it. But it's amazing that like Star Wars is in our sights. You know what I mean? I just never thought that a G.I. Joe book Kickstarter. I knew I wanted it, and I knew several hundred other people wanted it. I didn't know out of the gate thousands of people were going to want it. So it's amazing. I'm blown away.
It's like they say about overnight successes, Carson. They're just a long time in the running.
Yeah, all the hard work. But Carson, it's all hard work, right? You've been doing this for 10 years, course. Building everything up, right? You've like your quality, you've always delivered, and the quality is always as good as you can get it.
Yeah.
And now
we don't spare any expense.
No, you don't. And sometimes you pay it out of your own pocket, you know, just to make it a tad better for the rest of the fans, because you yourself are a fan. So, you know, I've
just always had faith in it. You know what I mean? And so I've been willing to gamble. Like, if you read the Kickstarter and make it all the way to the bottom, you know me, guys, I'm fully transparent every time out of the gate. So if you go to the campaign tab and go to the bottom, you'll see that the hard cost on the printing, shipping, and Kickstarter fees was going to be $87,000, right?
Shipping is expensive. People don't understand printing and shipping.
Yep. So our maximum goal with all the unlocks was $57,000, but the actual to get it printed and shipped was going to be $87,000. I was willing to gamble $30,000 of my own money. You know, if we could hit that goal, I'd unlock all those stretches and I'd throw my own 30 in so that we all could have a better product. When it blew through those goals, I was like, this might be the first time I don't even have to dig deep in my own pocket. Like, for real, it's crazy. The support.
Well, that was until today.
So Brian and I have been talking with
before you get into that, before we get too far in, well, take a moment here. I have to hashtag plug the damn show at some point, right?
Yep.
But if you're new to us tonight, if you're watching us on YouTube, the thing you can do to help us out the best, hit the like button on the video down below and subscribe to the channel. That's it. Of course, we're always striving to get more subscribers and regular watchers. We need you guys. Talk about 10 years of work. We've been at it just that long too, and we really need you guys to plug in. We're your favorite G.I. Joe podcast. But if you're watching us on Facebook tonight, go ahead and leave us some kind of emotion thing down below. Hit the thumbs up, hit the heart, hit the little huggy guy. We do love little huggy guy. And there's a few little huggy guys even.
There you go.
Yeah,
we got 5 little huggy guys so far. So those are great. We love them. And again, the thing you can do to help us out the most is to, at some point, head on over to Facebook and or rather head on over to YouTube and subscribe to the channel there. You don't have to watch us there necessarily, but please subscribe there. That's the best way for us to keep track of everybody. And at least, get ourselves to where we can get monetized and do bigger and better things for you. Because we certainly would like to do that. And this climb to 1,000 subscribers is taking far too long. We appreciate you if you've already signed on. For the 24% of you who tune in every week and haven't, come on, man. Hit the button. Hit the button. We'll take a second here, get a word in from our sponsor, and then we'll be back with more from Carson and Brian and what comes next.
We buy, sell, and trade vintage and modern toys. G.I. Joe, Star Wars, Transformers, Marvel, DC, and more. Located in beautiful downtown Kokomo, Indiana, we are open every Wednesday through Saturday from 12 to 5. It's a theme park of nostalgia. Join the thousands of people who have traveled from all over the Midwest for over a decade to buy and sell with us. Get your geek on.
All right, there we go. A fine batch of folks there at Kokomo Toys. Just last week, we gave out all kinds of prizes from them. 3 of our prize winners have yet to provide me with an address to send their prizes to.
Oh my God!
So
even when you're giving away hundreds of dollars, they can't send you the address.
Just gotta send an email. Gotta let me know where to put these things. So apologies if you haven't received your prize yet. Send me your address, and maybe that will change.
Right.
Because the one person that did, he got his. It was sent out within 2 days. So I'm not lazy here. We were. It was out the door Monday. Come on.
You're doing great.
Oh, I try, Joe Colton. I try. You see what I'm working with here. I'm with
do.
people that don't give me their address. Carson, Brian,
you good?
What's going on? I've let it out. I've
got it all out.
Yeah, it's a therapy session.
Maybe pick up one of these. Just do that.
Just crack open.
I got my iced tea. I'm good.
Iced tea on a Friday night.
Look.
So if you go to the bottom of the campaign tab, you'll see the original production cost was $64,450, and then if you added in the shipping and the Kickstarter fees, it was going to be $87,000. So what Brian was alluding to is that all week, now that we got more money to spend, we're thinking of ways to spend all of that money, because that's what we do. It's like, if we can make this thing better, bigger and better in every step of the way, we're going to do that. Like we
my
want
personal goal is to get Carson to cough up $30,000 of his own money. Still,
on top of whatever we raise. Because now he's like, oh, he's got 30 grand in there. Okay, we got some padding room here.
That's terrifying.
It's typical though. It's like like, I mean, and I go through this every time we do a show, every time we do something for Codename Iowa. It's the same thing where it's like we get super excited about making cool stuff, and we don't really at some point we're all like budget. Oh, what the hell? Throw it out the window. Let's keep going.
You only live once, right? We're only going to do this
cool.
Once,
this is going to be cool. This is going to be cool. Nobody else is doing something like this, so let's do this better. So, I believe. Let me see here. I got here in my hand the volume 2 hardcover.
Cool.
And I believe this was approximately the size we were going for originally.
That's the photo. So most people don't even know what that is, Brian.
That's right.
That is a one of a kind. You had to order it individually, but it is cardstock pages with photo laminated pages that connect the card stocks, right? So those you could order them off of a site called Zeno, ZNO, and I would upload the art files and they would make those one at a time. But I do think, I don't even remember what scale that is. That's a little bit bigger than the 8x11 soft covers.
Right. But we're talking about something roughly this size. And then we got to talking and figuring some stuff out and doing some math. And now this cardboard piece represents,
slide back so they can see it.
represents the new size of the book. So we're looking at
there you go.
I mean,
it's going to be a little bigger. We'll put it that way. It's going to be 14 inches across and 15 inches tall.
So like a coffee table kind of entertainment book. Got it.
It's a coffee table sized coffee table book. Just put some legs on it and you've got a table.
Here we go.
I think that was an episode of Seinfeld.
Is that we were going to be able to do.
Oh, actually, that's great, Brian. If you could put up a second figure with that,
everybody will have to ask me to.
Everybody will immediately understand the reason we need 13.5 inches width is because we're going to fit 2 of those traditional 6x9 cards side by side with their file cards underneath. So we have to have 12 inches across. Plus, we need another inch that goes into the gutter, because you guys know how hardcovers, they get sewn into the binding, and there's that gutter where you have a little bit of loss there, and we're not going to put that artwork in the gutter. So we need 13.5 inches.
My not quite Vanna White skills.
Oh, you're doing
really
great.
Paying off right now, but that gives you an idea, kind of what we're talking about. As I'm manhandling this, Major Blood, vintage Major Blood,
dropped $100 in value because you crushed the bubble.
Because my sweaty pizza palms.
I'm more proud
cringing.
of us. I'm proud of us for not going to the third hand jokes. I'm proud of all of us.
So we'll be in constant communication with our backers. But if you look at update number 3, you'll see some layouts that we did with the 6x9 cards and the card.
If I can, do you want to share the? Let me share the screen. I can pull
Mike,
that up.
if you can share a screen.
Yes, as soon as it is made available to me.
All right.
The one thing I'm not supposed to show, I have pulled up.
Oh, show it all. I don't care. You guys know me. I show everything.
No, it's not.
There's 9 more days in this campaign.
I was gonna say, if it was your project, no problem. But this is somebody else's project, and so
I'm guilty of oversharing all the time. Okay, so I do want to say a little quick asterisk on this thing. All the conversation we have tonight is stuff that Brian and I have been knee deep in with the printer all week. We're scoping stuff. We're figuring out what's doable. And so everything we talk about tonight, it might not all happen, right? But this is what we're shooting for. Aim for the moon and you'll land on the stars, right? So we've got probably a half dozen hardcover upgrade ideas and another 3 or 4 like separate items that are going to be included with it that we're scoping out. I mean, this thing is going to get ridiculously like packed out. Yeah, I'm super excited about it. Brian, you want to show them some stuff?
I am trying if my computer would allow me to do so, and it's saying denied.
Oh,
all right. Let's try this real quick. We shall see. We shall see. Oh, beauty of live television, right?
Right. Look, you just sat through me running the wrong intro to a show that we've done in,
real quick.
Right.
Yes,
to a show that we've done in this format 80 times.
Yeah.
Yes, it's loading. It's loading. It's taking its sweet time. It's a small PDF, but it's going.
There we go.
Is this the right one? Okay, so this is just the one side page. This is the bad one.
Oh, Brian.
Oh, I know. Here, so we'll let everybody in on a little like the behind the scenes kind of stuff. So this was like the first thing that cobbled together, and at my availability, I had like these old file cards I had personally from another scan that we just threw in there. But this was kind of when we were just trying to figure a few things out and what things were going to look like.
And that's the 13.5 wide.
That is the
score.
Yes. Now let's go to. Let's see. We are taking our sweet time still. Does not like. Does not like.
Hey! None of that. That's copyrighted.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
We'll get in trouble.
You gotta go public domain. You gotta dial it way back.
I love that you think my singing is close enough to the actual. Very nice of you.
If I could tell what it is, then it's close enough.
Right.
Well, I apologize. Apparently, this computer or this does not like PNGs very well. So,
sure.
Unfortunately, all I got is PNGs to show up of the
on
original
your
ones.
computer.
If you bear with me for a second.
I feel like Carson is like, hold on, let me see what I can do on this end.
Oh no. You think we'd be prepared. Well, the problem is the screen share is not working. So if that would have been tested earlier, if I was diligent at all. Hell, lucky I'm here. All right, here we go. We got new saves coming. Let's see.
Ooh.
Why don't you go ahead and kick the old share out and just try to re-add it from scratch.
All right. What, you don't like JPEGs either?
All right. I'm going to try something. Let me see.
All right, try it.
Get mine going. All right. 1 second.
Sure.
How we doing, guys? Actually, I think Mike would have to cue it up.
Yep.
There we go. Okay. So,
Inception.
really quickly, this is the first thing that Brian sent over to me, and this is basically just showing where the bleed is that we were talking about for the gutter on the right hand side, and then the outlines for where the 6x9 card backs would go, and then the outlines for where the file cards would go. And so then overnight, I just kind of whipped this thing up using our current assets. But I do want to point out, look how freaking sexy those new assets are. Thanks, Chad Huckle, for all the Photoshop work. These photos, all these figures were shot with HDR photography, which is high definition resolution, where you shoot multiple exposures. So the blown out areas are no longer blown out. The black areas have a lot more richness to them. You can see a lot more depth, a lot more curvature on that black snake eyes leg, for example. So the photography of the mint on card figures is head and shoulders above where it was, and all of that has been redone. So this was just dumping in the content into Brian's template. So this was very much a first stab at it. And then this was an alternate that I was thinking of, where you put the unadorned artwork behind it to create a little depth there. Nice. We pretty quickly moved on from all of this and let the professionals do what the professionals do. So Brian came up with, well, this was my initial kind of clean design, and this mimics what I've done in the softcover versions. But then Brian took over and created one that emulates the blueprints of all the early vehicles. And I love this text treatment up here. I'm such a big fan of that right there. And then obviously, like, this text is sexier than what I had in the clean version as well. It's got these really nice page numbers with the book titles down here. And then it's got the 1982 to remind you that's the section that you're in on the bottom right corner. So there's a lot of really nice text elements here, and they're all, you know, inspired by the blueprints. And then the third option that we put together was inspired by the back of the vehicle boxes. From 1982 to 1985, they use this black to red gradient. And you've got the flag points here in the bottom corner, which I freaking love. And then you've still got that 1982 to let you know what section you're in. And then this emulates the text layout and the typography of the vehicle boxes. So it's all the same content. It's just, you know, taking inspiration from different things. So you got clean, you got blueprint, and you've got vehicle box back inspired. So that's the kind of stuff that we're going to be getting into and sharing with the collaborative backers that are spending a little bit of extra money to be part of the creative process. So we're going to share that out. We're going to put up polls. Their votes are going to have an impact, and they're going to help us shape this book over the next 9 months that we're cranking on the book and the videos. So on the video portion, I've shot 40 hours with these guys over the last couple years. Multi-camera interviews, drone footage, Steadicam. You just shot the heck out of it. That's what I do for a living, is video and animation. And so I'll be cranking hard on the Blu-ray while also providing a ton of content to Brian and weighing in on how we lay things out. And of course, I'm also writing more and more articles to put throughout the book that'll be based on those interviews that I've conducted. One other thing I want to show you guys really quick. This just went live tonight. This is the product of 12 hours of interviews conducted over Zoom with Ed Morrill during COVID. And then after, I went to his house once again. I've been to his house 4 times now, and recorded for another 3 or 4 hours. So we've recorded probably 16 hours together. And just from the notes that I took during those interviews, we created this creator profile for Ed Morrill. So for those that are watching, you can go under pre-production, then go under creator profiles, and then go to Ed Morrill, and you can read this at your leisure. It is 11 pages of single-spaced text in Microsoft Word. There's a tremendous amount of content here documenting his whole career path. And most people don't know this guy, and they don't associate him with G.I. Joe, which is a shame, because he worked on G.I. Joe from 1969 to 1989. He hired Don Stivers, managed the artwork of the 70s. He hired Hector Garrido, managed the artwork of the 80s that we all know and love. He oversaw the design of the G.I. Joe Real American Hero brand, the Adventure Team brand, the Super Joe brand, the brand refresh for American Hero in '86. I mean, this guy was there for 20 years putting in work. He created thumbnail sketches for each of the figures that were then turned into paintings. This is not his sketch. We just talked about this today, and I updated the page with some revised information there. This was something that was in his paperwork, but was not a sketch that he completed. But in all honesty, it's probably somebody in his office that created it. Why else would it be in his paperwork? Or it came from Hasbro's art department. Doesn't really matter. We've clarified that he didn't personally put pencil to paper on that. But it's nice to show the production process going from sketch to painting to package. So all this stuff is going to be rolled into and presented in the book. But we don't just want to sell you guys stuff. We also want to share this with the whole community for free and in perpetuity. So this is already posted on 3djoes.com. You go to 3djoes.com/Ed Morrill, and this is all there for you guys to enjoy. So I hope you do enjoy it, and I hope everybody finds a new respect for this guy who was an unsung hero that isn't talked about much in the community. He also managed the back of the packaging product photo shoots. And so that's, these types of things. There's that background that Brian used for inspiration on the figure page. And so you get to see a little bit of behind the scenes of how these things were shot. These are all taken from high resolution Kodachrome transparencies. And these are prototype figures. Like if you look at That figure right there, I believe, is Lamprey's body. You can see the weird, vest that he's got on, making him look like he's got man boobs a little bit. So there's Sergeant Slaughter is way chunkier, and this is the prototype type figures that Ed Morrill would be given, and he would go to a photo studio in New York and oversee the photography of these things. So there's hundreds of photos in here. You could see how with a transparency he would do an overlay and mark up revisions on these things. And he was just involved in every aspect of the packaging from 1969 to 1989. We talk about everything from Toy Fair to developing the brand to revising the brand, and how it came to an end in 1989 and what he's up to now. And there he is. He actually came to my house. There's my little Toys R Us he was visiting. We looked at figures for hours, and then we went to a Duke basketball game. He's a good friend of mine now. And there's actually a PDF here that is his full story from his perspective. I didn't include a lot of the kind of childhood and Army inspiration stuff that he included in this article. So if you get done with this page and you want to read more, just click on download file there, and it's another 13 pages on Ed Morrill. So I'm really proud. I'm really proud to meet these guys, talk with them for hours upon hours, and then work my butt off documenting it so all you guys can, enjoy it and digest it in a easily digestible way that's hopefully, entertaining and enjoyable. So we just rolled that out tonight, so you guys go have a look at it.
Woohoo.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I talk a lot when I get excited.
It's no judgment here.
He's just a good friend now, and it's like, oh my God, we finally get to show this thing. We've been working on that for years. I know it's just like a page on a website somewhere, but to me, it's like this guy, he spent 20 years of his career working on this stuff, and it's awesome to kind of put that all out there for people to understand and appreciate and enjoy.
It's crazy for me because that's honestly, people talk about how they were inspired as a child and they keep playing with the G.I. Joe and they keep collecting it and everything like that. But quite literally, I was drawing the G.I. Joe Dragonfly out of the catalog that I got in second grade or whatever, when the teacher was like, whoa, that is really good. You're kind of got some talent. And I'm like, I don't know if I do or not. All I know is I'm dreaming of when I can get my hands on this toy. Right. And so quite literally to come up, 40 years later and being able to not only enjoy, interact, reconnect with things that inspired my childhood, but to also help contribute and put back that information and that inspiration back out to the community, both from what Carson's invited me to work on with the book to what we do with the shows and everything else. I mean, that's, it is absolutely full circle coming all the way around to why did I want to learn how to draw? Why do I, what inspires me for graphic design and what inspires me for advertising and marketing? And honestly, a lot of it just points right back down to the toy aisle and to all those guys and all those women who worked on the line for, especially that first 5-6 years that I was really in there. That had a lot to do with shaping how I think about the job I do in advertising. So, it's crazy. Absolutely nuts.
I 100% echo that sentiment, man. I have no doubt that G.I. Joe put me on a creative path too. From watching the cartoon back in 1984, 85, 86, when I was really young, to getting my first figure in hand in 86, to reading Larry Hama's comic book, to becoming a lifelong reader of comic books because of that gateway drug. There's no doubt in my mind. There was a time in the 1980s when Marvel was struggling where G.I. Joe was by far the most subscribed to comic book. There's no doubt that putting cartoons on TV as commercials to advertise a comic book, but also really advertise the toy. But they were getting around regulations with that, doing 30-second animated ads. There's no doubt in my mind that brought a ton of new people into the comic book kind of stores, into the industry, made them, readers for life. So I have no doubt that G.I. Joe, it inspired a generation of creative people and made us pursue creative paths.
Yeah. I mean, shoot, it's almost 40 years ago and we still sit up every Friday night talking about it. Yeah. But to cast a little more light, you said Marvel was struggling and they were. G.I. Joe wasn't just Marvel's number one book. G.I. Joe was the number one book, period.
Wow.
Right? the industry was doing pretty well through most of the 80s. You could sell 100,000 copies of a book and get canceled, whereas today that would make you number one with a bullet. So G.I. Joe was blasting through all kinds of sales figures on a month-to-month basis, and so there's a generation of folks out there that were inspired by this, and hopefully we keep turning up out of the woodwork, because it's been fun to have it keep around all these years.
It looks like they're popping up, man. I'm telling you, just anecdotal evidence, but just based on the number of people that are interested in the products that I've been working on, it seems to be growing. I mean, G.I. Joe seems to be really hot right now, man. And it's such a relief, because we had a few years of relative dormancy there, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, right?
Yeah.
It was pretty quiet there for
there was a couple years. There's a few years in there where there was nothing. So
I mean, they got rid of the club in 2018, and I was like, oh no, like what's next? Because for a few years there, 16, 17, 18, the club was like the only people making stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it was scary there for a little bit as like a diehard lifelong G.I. Joe fan, and then boom, Classified, Retro, now Sky Striker and O-Ring. Like, let's do it, man. They're putting a lot of energy and effort into G.I. Joe, and I'm thrilled to see it. And I think that's probably contributing to the success of this Kickstarter, is they've reignited the passion in a lot of G.I. Joe fans. And I've heard this through direct messages through the Kickstarter, that people have gotten back into the line because of Classified or because of the latest HasLab that they did. So I've literally heard that from several people. So I have no doubt that Hasbro is ringing the bell loud and clear, and people are responding to it. So sorry about my dog if you can hear that lapping. He's very thirsty.
Carson, every time you're on, the dog interjects.
Does something, right?
So really, like if you've been following this show at all, yeah, we're kind of expecting the dog at some point. And
well,
really,
my dog is actually right here, right next to me, staring at me, wanting to come up on my lap, because it seems like that happens all the time.
I
won't judge
you.
You could do that.
We're
not judging.
Could do that. Moxie, you want to come up here? You want to say hi to all the folks?
All 71 of them.
Oh, nice.
It's all right.
There she is. Hey, buddy.
Look at the camera. Look over there. Who's that?
No, I just want to look at your face.
Other way.
There you go. There you go.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah,
there's the love.
There's the
love.
I know. I've been a single dog parent all week, so she's been very needy and dependent on me, sitting on the couch and hanging out. And
nice.
I know she really does have her. She has her, and we have to adhere to it. So it's
nice.
She's missing our what are we watching usually right now? Blue Bloods or some garbage like that? I mean, thing like that.
No, Brian.
Brian.
The answer is normally you're watching what's on Joe Mind.
There you go.
I am watching on what's on Joe Mind.
That's what I'm doing on Friday night.
I'm listening to it while I sit on the couch with my wife and watch Hill Street Blues, or whatever that show is.
He's digging
when my mom visits Brian, it's like it's on Ion television, like nonstop with Blue Bloods.
Oh yeah, no. Is this the one where Danny gets really angry?
Yeah.
And this is the one where Tom Selleck is really stoic and
doesn't say anything. Can't we just eat our Sunday?
Oh, formulaic television. It's awesome.
Yeah,
hey, you gotta get your dramas in before the reruns of The Nanny comes on.
Yeah.
Remember,
I've been doing so well all week.
The Swear Jar is brought to us by our good friends at All the Cool Stuff. Be sure to check them out at allthecoolstuff.co.uk and check out our coffee page. You can find the link for it down below. You can also find Joe Colton's personal cosplay coffee link down below. It's
every time I try and start out not swearing. I made it pretty far tonight.
Yeah, you did better than you normally do.
Yeah.
I think last week it was closer to the hour mark when she hit, though.
This is Brian's fault. He brought up.
I was like going back in my mind, like, did I go? Did I do it? Did I? Because this is the longest I've gone without swearing.
Yeah, it's
probably
hard.
in a while. Probably in a while.
Ever? I
Probably
mean, it's really hard.
I had it as a New Year's resolution, and like that fucking day, Mark Webber got me swearing on What's on Joe Mine, and I was like, dude, I'm trying. It's fine. Anyway, back to why these guests are here.
Yeah.
So you were talking, Carson. You made an allusion to other projects.
Yeah.
Cool.
And so speaking, you have more than one project in the hopper, of course. The last time you were on a full episode, not counting the mail call episode, but last time you were on a full episode, because nobody watched the mail call episode anyway, even though it's chock full of great information, and people are just being obstinate. So go watch the mail call episode with Carson and our other fine mail call episodes,
and you'll
because
see.
that's when we talk to you, the viewer. But anyways, Carson, going back to your last full episode.
Yep.
Operation Recall was a
thing.
So
I blame this thing on like the COVID crazy. I was just home and I had too much time to think to myself and come up with wacky ideas. And so I was already working.
I would just start watching Blue Bloods at that point.
Yeah. See, I don't watch a lot of television, and I think that's why this kind of stuff happens.
I
only watch
Blue Bloods in my life.
I only watch TV when I eat. That's kind of my thing. It's like I'm trying to work all day, and then when I eat, okay, I'll watch the last episode of Mandalorian or Boba Fett or whatever. So I was working on this hardcover, and I was going around to interview these guys. And in the past, I'd just done audio interviews, and this time I was like, okay, I'm going to do video. But sit down, talking head, long form interviews can be kind of dull to watch. So I was wondering, what could I do to make it a more experiential interview, where I'm asking them questions as they're doing something or just getting them up out of their chair and that kind of thing. And so then I came up with the idea real quick of, what if I had them design an action figure from start all the way to finish, from ideation sketches to refined designs to color studies to presentation art to package art to sculpted figure to sculpted accessories and now to manufactured. I never thought we would do manufactured. I thought this whole thing was going to be one chapter in the hardcover. I legitimately did. And as I worked on it and as I documented it, I can actually pull up a page real quick.
Boy, were you wrong.
I was totally wrong, and that's great. And that's great. I'm happy with that. You know what I mean? I love being wrong when it involves passion projects that grow like well beyond the original intent. I'm good with that. All right, so let me share my screen really quick. Let's see. There we go. So I've been documenting this as we go. So the figure was something that I came up with in 1989. I wrote the president of G.I. Joe about it and asked him to make this figure. I told him I have 103 men, right? Like, please make this thing. I was really playing it up. The reason that I wrote you is I want to ask you to make the man for me. These designs took me a long time to make, so please look them over closely when making your choice to make him or not. So this was a 10-year-old me. I wrote the file card. I did the illustrations, the character designs. I told them even like some parts that they could reuse to minimize the manufacturing. I even drew the inside pieces with like the T-hook and the rivets and the screws. It's really innocent and cute, but it's like this. He's a radio teletype operator, and he came with a carrier pigeon. And I didn't have a code name for him, actually. If you look at it, it says homing pigeon code named and then air quotes, right? Like, I was not sure what I wanted to code name him. Up here, I just called him CP, which was obviously for carrier pigeon. So anyway, I sent this into Hasbro and they were like, yeah, thanks, but no thanks, right? So they sent me the very nice rejection letter. And I was like, whatever, I'll still make a steel brigadier called Rotello. And that was the end of it for a few decades. So during COVID, I'm getting ready to do these interviews. I was like, you know what? Would you guys be interested in designing a new figure and me documenting that with video? So here was the pitch that I sent along to Ron Rudat and Kirk Bazigian. This was back in 2020. And they said yes, believe it or not. And so that's been the experience this entire process. I'll walk you through like 20 steps really quick. But Ron Rudat did the initial designs, which were awesome. Gave me a couple different character options, gave me a bunch of accessory options, backpacks and carrier pigeons and drones and carrier pigeons with armor. And so me and Kirk got together, and this was via Zoom. You can tell from that headshot, but we got together and marked it up. And all this red is Kirk Bazigian's genius. Like, he literally went through and he selected some things and marked out some other things, but he also added a lot of ideas, which were great. And so he's not just like a marketing genius. He really is a creative powerhouse. And I think you'll see that in the video that I captured with him as we were going through this creative process. So anyway, there's backpack ideas, accessory, the big thing to come out of this meeting was we decided, let's do an old school carrier pigeon, but let's also do a very new and modern drone. So scope creep, once again, it happens to all of us. Let's just do it all. So anyway, there's the revised line art. And then there's a 360 turnaround that Ron Rudat illustrated for the sculptor to use in the sculpting of this figure. And then here's the accessory drawings, engineering drawings. And that's where Ron basically moved on to start doing color studies. So he did 6 color studies. Of course, Kirk looked at those and was like, yeah, let's take this piece, that piece, that piece, that piece. And so we ended up doing a 7th color study, which is awesome. This is where we've landed. And then once we had sign off on that, then Ron made the presentation art. So this is a more refined piece of artwork that they would have used to show through to management to get approval to move on to the engineering of the figure. And so once we got done with that, I did a little bit of research and I sent it all to Larry Hama, and Larry Hama wrote the file card. Boom! I literally, everybody has said yes every step of the way, and it's been amazing. I just feel really, really blessed that people have believed in my vision and are just like wacky enough to say like, yeah, this kid's crazy, but I'm gonna help him out. So Adam Freeman helped me take the engineering drawings from the accessories and create these awesome 3D designed versions of those. And so thank you, Adam, for helping bring this to life. And then Mike Seifert, I got to ask him about that pronunciation. Mike Seifert, we'll go with that, helped turn those into 3D printable. So he's more of like an engineer and a printing genius. And so he helped actually turn those accessories into printable objects. And so there you see Tiger Force Duke with all of Rottello's accessories, including the carrier pigeon, who has a helmet and a flak vest and several Rob Liefeld pouches. He can carry all the messages. He's awesome. You got a machine gun with a removable suppressor and removable mags, and the mags tuck into the backpack. There you can see 3 magazines will fit in that backpack pouch. So we really thought this thing through and tried to bring a lot of play value to it. Then I laid out a card back for how much space each of the accessories would take. I gave this to Ed Morrill, who was the packaging guy that I mentioned earlier in this video. And I gave him an 82 example and an 86 example so he could choose. And so Ed Morrill did 4 sketches of different poses using that space to try to best show off this figure and his accessories. And we landed on this one. So after that, Doug Hart, the painter who worked at Hasbro and did a ton of G.I. Joe illustrations from 1987 to 1994, he asked for photo reference because he is a very much like a realist painter. He loves to have photorealistic illustrations of people. So I did my best to emulate Ed Morrill's pose, and I posed with my Keltec Sub 2000 and a bunch of facial expression close-ups and that kind of thing. And I know I look ridiculous, but I'm just, I'm going with it. So then Doug Hart, we went back and forth a ton as he was fleshing this out, but we've got a lot of the kind of iterations of the illustration as it started to get fleshed out. One of my favorite things to talk about, though, is the Vietnamese tiger stripe pants. That was inspired by my dad, who had those fatigues laying around the house all the time when I was a kid, and we would put them on, dress up, and play Army. And also the De Oppresso Liber Special Forces belt buckle. That's inspired by my dad, who was in Special Forces for much of my childhood. So very cool to get some of my dad in there. There's the artwork we were refining. I asked him to put the American flag there on that right shoulder. I asked him to add a heads-up display, and then the bullets coming out of the gun, and of course a little bit of muzzle flare. Even though with our suppressor, you're not supposed to see much of that. This is imagination here, kids. So there's the final artwork, which looks amazing. There it is in much larger.
Can you zoom in at all on that?
Are you kidding? Are you serious? All right, there you go. So yeah, there's the drone and there's the carrier pigeon. He's got it all, man. We just did everything, all the ideas. So then I went to Bill Merkline, he was a contract sculptor for Hasbro. He also sculpted tons of miniatures. He was a military miniature artist. He did holograms. He did the Visa Dove that's on millions and millions of credit cards. He sculpted that. He worked on Visionaries. He worked on a bunch of lines. So I went to Bill Merkline and lived in his house. I'm not even exaggerating, for 2 weeks while he sculpted this thing from scratch using that little blue buck right there, sculpted this thing from scratch. So you can see how he started to layer up all the muscle and clothes first. And then he started to, the very detailed head sculpt, which is beautiful. And then he started to put the straps and the pouches and the grenades and everything on. And I've got 15 to 20 hours worth of footage just with Bill Merkline, watching him and learning the tricks of the trade with him as he developed this figure. So it's been the project of a lifetime. I can say that without question. This has been the most fun I think I've ever had working on anything. And there's a 360 spin of the figure and the accessories all geared up. This is still at the 2-up scale. So this is sculpted at twice the scale of what the final product O-ring 3.75 inch figure would be. And so then you take that, you break it down into all its little itty bits, and you cast it in resin, right? You make a mold and then you cast several versions of it. And the reason we have 3 versions there, one will be the Paint Master for me to use for photography and marketing. The other will be a Paint Master that goes to the factory in China. And then the third one will be one that stays in its broken down itty bitty bits. And that's what the factory is going to use to create the steel cut molds that they'll use to pour plastic and manufacture the figure. So next up is packaging, which actually we've already got a jump start on. And I'm not ready to share that yet. So that's where I get secretive. But know that, and I'll say this, and I've said this already on multiple occasions. If Hasbro wants to do this, if they want to license this, if they want to make this thing like official, oh my God, let's do it. I would love it. That would be the biggest and best outcome ever. But I doubt they will. So we're developing another brand to bring this thing to life and manufacture it so everybody can have it in their collection. So 33 years later, after I initially came up with this wacky figure idea, we're actually making it with all the guys. Okay, so I'm going to share one more thing with you.
And if you're looking for more details, we get into this really in depth back on episode 174. So if you're wanting to get more information, go back to What's on Joe Mind 174 from a couple months back.
Yeah, that was the lightning round, because I figure if people were interested in this project, they probably already watched that episode. So that was definitely the lightning round.
Right. I knew there was some progress, so I wanted to bring it back up and let you.
I appreciate it. So one of the things to share is the brand that we've developed to roll this thing out. And so it's called Operation Recall. And are you seeing the screen share? There you go. So Operation Recall, basically the military has the right to recall old service members in times of great need for the country. That's where recall comes from. So Operation Recall means that we're getting these legendary creators back on active duty to create all new action figures. And so there's a little bit of writing here about, this wacky kid back in '89 created this thing, but these professionals were actually busy fighting in the toy wars and creating amazing experiences for kids of my age. And so after the decades wore on, the toy wars cooled, they received honorable discharges after performing their duties. And so then flash forward 30 years later, the same naive but ambitious kid convinced them to still make this figure. And so that's how the story goes. So together, they will create all new action figures to reignite the toy wars. Will you join them in this mission? Enlist today. So that's the pitch, is basically, look, we've got the entire creative team, the figure designer, Ron Rudat, the brand manager, Kirk Bazigian, the writer, Larry Hama, the packaging genius, Ed Morrill, the illustrator, Doug Hart, and the sculptor, Bill Merkline, all on board, not to just create Ritello, but to create an entirely new action figure line. Between our minimum goal is 4 figures. Our maximum that we're willing to commit to at this moment is 16 figures, and I'll be launching this shortly after collecting the Art of G.I. Joe. That's what I got. That's what I got, man.
I think this moves you past, in 1989, you were a little nudge.
Right.
I think here in 2022, you're a Budinsky. I think you've moved up in the world from nudge to Budinsky.
Okay. Is that an upgrade or a downgrade?
I think it's an upgrade. I always took it as an upgrade. I mean, because, you can kind of ignore a nudge.
So, yeah, I hope nobody's ignoring me at this point.
No, that's why you're up to a Budinsky.
Right.
Just to give you an idea of, this is the 2-up scale, right? So the backpack with the straps, and these are removable straps. You just pull them right out and drop them off the little hooks at the bottom. right? So you got backpack with movable straps, typical old peg. You got the drone. Just swivel that off. It's off to go spy on the Russians that are getting ready to invade Ukraine. Then you got the magazines on the side right there. So there's 3 magazines right there. You can pull those out. Those obviously go in the machine gun right here. And that magazine's removable, of course. And also the suppressor is removable. So, man, we've done our best. Every step of the way, we've just done our best. And again, tried to not cut costs, not cut budget. This is an insanely expensive O-ring figure. Way too many accessories and too many paint apps. Hasbro probably wouldn't make it because it would be too profitable. But just wanted to really blow it out and have fun with it. There's a communications helmet with a heads-up display and the microphone. So we're working on Paint Masters right now. My friend Matthew LaCroix has a couple of the resins, and he's painting it up for me right now. I'm super excited to see what that looks like. And I've got the paints for the accessories. They're not all going to be that flat gray color. So it's been fun, man. I mean, this has been like 2 years of a passion project, having fun in the background, talking to some of you guys about it. I mean, y'all saw it at Joe Fest, you know, so we did a panel there, but there's an idea of like all the artifacts are in the portfolio. If you guys come to Joe Fest this year, everything from like the original letter, like I brought this folder to Joe Fest last year, and everybody could see like all the steps along the way. So you can see kind of the artifacts that it took to go through this creative process, you know, just like nice little letters that the guys wrote me along the way and stuff. And I'll have all this at Joe Fest this year, and you can come flip through it. And then hopefully you will support Operation Recall. Oh, I do want to say this about Operation Recall. Every single dollar that we raise is going to go to these creators to make more figures. There's nothing built in for me and Brian or anybody else, right? The entire budget of Operation Recall is going to fund the further development of new figures, because these guys should be working. Some of them are working plenty. Like Larry's plenty busy, you know what I mean? But some of them are a little more dormant than they should be, you know what I mean? Because they deserve these opportunities. They still have the capability. They're capable of producing incredible figures for us. And why would we as a community not rally behind that and just put them back to work, man? Put them back to work in the toy wars. So it's a passion project, man. When we got done, bar none, every one of them was like, well, it's kind of a shame that this thing is coming to an end because it's been pretty fun, you know? So, I don't know, man. I don't know how this happened. Somehow it like it just evolved into this crazy dream project.
Yeah, sometimes momentum is a wonderful thing.
We've got it, man. We've got it. Every one of them had a good time doing it, and that has led to every one of them, you know, agreeing, yeah, you want to raise some money and make this thing happen? Let's do it, you know? So we're going to do it. We're gonna do it.
We'll give everybody a couple seconds. We got a couple of extra minutes, so we'll take some. If anybody in the live crowd has questions, we'll take a few of those pertaining to these projects. Either just keep it limited to either Operation Recall or to the Art of G.I. Joe Omnibus. Let's keep focused and not stretch out our guests on stuff they don't need us to be talking about.
That's the paper that came off of Bill Merkline's desk, so it's got clay all over it, and he also likes to call it the dust of Merkline when he like sands a sculpture and like little white powder comes off. It's got plenty of dust of Merkline on it.
Just throw a reminder out there: if you're watching us and you are not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. Every week we find about 24% of you are not subscribed, and that's just silly. It's a pretty consistent number every week. Sometimes when I see new people who have subscribed, it's people who are here every week, and that's just ridiculous. So please jump on and help us reach our goals, and that will help us provide a more entertaining product for you. If you're on Facebook, go ahead, leave us some kind of a reaction. Give us a thumbs up, give us a heart, give us a little huggy guy, because we love little huggy guy. But really, the thing you can do to help us out the most is visit us on YouTube and give a subscription over there. Ben Conway has provided a lot tonight, but he's going to provide our first question here. When is Operation Recall going to go live?
Yeah, I've been notoriously, you know, cat and mouse about this because a lot of it does not depend on me. A lot of it depends on other people and their availability to knock out certain kind of checklist items that have to be done. So getting the cast made, getting the resins, getting these paint masters done. Obviously, we got to do some photography before that. I didn't want to go live without a paint master with, properly colored accessories to photograph and show that will approximate what the factory produced piece of, collectible goodness will look like. And so, I'm shooting for March 1st. I'm shooting for March 1st. I wanted to be out there by March 1st. This Kickstarter for collecting the art of G.I. Joe ends February 6th. We did a short window because we knew people are either going to want this book or they're not. And we thought there would be some pent up demand. And obviously there is, which is amazing. So as soon as that wraps up, I'm going to turn my sights on editing. I've already shot it, but editing the promotional video for Kickstarter to get people excited about throwing their money behind this. And that's going to take me a little bit of time. And I also want to do a call for submissions for anybody and everybody out there in the community that had a dream, that had a twinkle in their eye as a kid and submitted something to Hasbro. I want you to have your chance to have the same amazing experience that I did over the last year and a half with these guys. And they've agreed to that too. So what we're going to do is take submissions from the community, have a round table with Kirk Bazzigian, Ron Rudat, Mark Pennington, who was the figure designer that followed Ron Rudat. We're going to select the winning concepts and we're going to make those figures. So people from the community are potentially going to have that same amazing experience that I just got to have. So stay tuned first for the call for submissions and then stay tuned for the Kickstarters going live.
So Brian, I see you have an image that is queued up for me to share. You want me to get that up there?
Yeah, why don't we do this? Because this is a little reveal and this is a little something that I don't think Carson has seen yet.
What?
Yeah, this is the proposed slipcase / book box that is going to accompany your Omnibus hardcover.
Yeah, this is one of those scope creeping examples.
Just a little one. So
it's not going to be a little expenditure. I'll tell you that.
No. What started off as being like a little like kind of like the old Polaroid box is now turned into this whole thing that actually opens up and will have similar function to the old style figure case.
Yes.
So
this thing is amazing.
It is so fun. It is scaled. So it is scaled up, perfect proportions of the original carrying case, so it'll fit the book. That is the original painting, no touch-ups, no alterations. I was telling Carson this, I think this morning, right? Or this afternoon when we were talking. Yeah. I said I was getting so frustrated because I was trying to make it align with what the original one was. And then I started looking at it and realized somebody went in and worked on that one to make it fit on that original printed piece. And so this is the untouched piece, untouched painting.
The unmolested artwork as it was originally painted. Yeah. This is so beautiful, man.
So this is going to be so much fun. So we're going to emulate the back panel with some of our own stuff in there, our own mimicking of some of the details in there. And even the plan is to, once you open it up, we will have one side that will look like we have some figures in there. Maybe I don't want to say because we don't. Carson would say it. I'm not going to say it.
I'll say it. I've got diarrhea of the mouth. I talk about everything.
I know.
You guys know me. I'm the worst at keeping secrets. Yeah, I know. I'll say what we're brainstorming. And this is as a shout out and a tribute to the people that have been kind enough to give their time to speak with us, which creates all the much needed research that we can use to embellish this artwork and tell the stories behind who made this stuff and the processes that they went through. Everybody that we interviewed has a corresponding action figure that either looked like them on the package artwork or was sculpted to match their face in the actual toy, or just that they identify with as a favorite figure. And so what we're going to do is when you open that collector case, you had figures down the left side and the little file card spot, and then figures down the right-hand side. We're going to get rid of the file card box, and we're just going to have 2 rows of figures, and it's going to say featuring interviews with, and you'll have little illustrations of each of their figures. So Kirk Bazzigian would be Law, Ron Rudat would be Leatherneck, Ed Morrill would be Recondo, et cetera, et cetera. So that top row is going to be all figures. The bottom row is going to be all figures. And it's going to be shout out to the creators that did interviews that have ended up in the book. This thing, when she was describing it to us, instead of just a slipcase that it just slides out of, this is a box. Like it's got edges that come up and fold over each other, and it clasps on the end with a little magnet. So when you close it, it's going to have that really nice snap like sound to it, like the collector case does when you close it. So we don't even know what this is going to cost yet. I'm just like, yeah, whatever, sign me up.
We'll spend your money somehow, Carson Metaxas.
I'm telling you, like, we find ways to blow the budget. But this was just like that big idea where I was like, okay, the slipcase that was 17 grand, this is going to do the same thing in my mind. This is your first impression. This is the first thing you see. And when you open it up, I think it's going to be really magical to see, like, starring all those guys with their little figures and everything. I'm super pumped about it. You know, some of the other stuff that we're thinking about, a 10 print set that is 14 wide by 15 tall that also fits in this little container of the top 10 unadorned pieces of artwork that the fans are going to vote on. So all those collaborative backers are going to get a laundry list of artwork with, you know, thumbnails so they know what's what, but I'm gonna have them vote on their top 10 and that'll be included. We were talking about doing some stuff with transparencies where we showed the process. So you started with a raw piece of artwork, and then you lay a transparency on it that adds the typography to it. You'll add another layer of transparency that adds the logos and stuff, and showing the creative process for how you arrived at a final package. The last overlay would be the mint on card figure that sits on top of all that. So we've been brainstorming all week. We've been talking with the printer, and again, none of this is completely locked in stone yet. So I apologize if some of these things don't happen. One of the other things is on the spine of the book, we're going to do a red, white, and blue ribbon. That's your bookmark that goes into the book to play up the real American hero aspect of it, of course. So we've got a lot of ideas and we're pricing them all out. And completely candidly, guys, with the way the campaign's going, if I've got the money to spend on it, we're going to spend it. We're going to trick this thing out as much as possible. And I will say, I've got to make it special for the Kickstarter backers. So a lot of that stuff that we give away for free during the Kickstarter is either not going to be available or it's going to be an add-on item after the Kickstarter. We're not going to be selling this hardcover and the print set and the slipcase and the transparencies and everything else for $99. It does not make sense from a financial perspective. We're just spending money with reckless abandon because this Kickstarter is doing so well. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I love the idea that we are including a lot of the tangibles, the tchotchkes, the artifacts that go along with what we're talking about in the book, that goes in and speaks to the process, or is that realization of something that, you know, that when they went through 30 plus years ago, 50, 40 years ago, creating the brand. And so, not only is it a cool look at this beautiful artwork, or hey, read the story, it is also giving you a chance to really understand some of the process and again relive that experience of opening up. And I mean, I want to put in that kind of ephemera stuff in there that you would get when you opened up your vehicles. Like, you know, you get the catalogs, you get the little mail away things, you get, you know, who knows what else will be in there. Could be a mail away figure offer for Operation Recall or something like that.
I love that idea. I mean, tie the two campaigns together. I love it. Just
something in there, extra stuff that I want to throw out there that I don't want Carson talking about to ruin the surprise.
This is what he does, though. He's just man, he's a brainstorming like creative genius, and so that's why he's pulled in on this project. And we will continue to scope creep it and make it as absolutely amazing as we can. But shout out to Brian for also putting that energy into his show that he puts on every year, Assembly Required. He redoes the design work for that every single year. He doesn't reuse anything from years past. There's a new theme, new motif for each year, and he creates all kinds of unique illustrations and posters. And it's phenomenal the amount of work that he puts into this stuff. And Brian, you don't talk about this, but my gut feeling tells me you don't make much money doing that show either. It's for the passion. It's for a project that is your baby that you get to make perfect every year, and it's a creative outlet. And we've got our corporate clients to make money off of, right? This is a passion. This is a passion project. And so anybody that hasn't checked out Assembly Required, like seriously, go check out Brian's stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You nailed it right there. I mean, it's not a moneymaker at all. I mean, no, it's quite the opposite.
So, I know how that goes.
Yeah, it's fun though. Yeah, what's on Joe Mind is still there, right? Like, but you guys are building, and you're clearly still doing it because you love it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I mean, just from 5 years of running CoilCon, there's no money being made there.
Oh yeah. Just start a Kickstarter. Put a book out. Apparently they go. Like
I do not have time for that. Please don't give him ideas like that.
Right. Yes. But well, you don't have to. You don't. It doesn't have to be a big book. It could be like 4 pages.
We got the What's on Joe Mind informational pamphlet coming your way
you
on Kickstarter this September.
There you go.
If hopefully we can get a paragraph from Joe Colton. But Josiah Alcorn asks, is the 3D Joe's website going to cover modern era eventually? And this ties back to your partnership with Joe Declassified and so on and so forth, correct?
Yeah, it's a very fair question. When Yojo was frozen in 2018, and a lot of those guys that had access and had passion were kind of frozen out of it, unfortunately. We had a lot of conversations about what was next for the community and how could we pull our resources and try to combine efforts and stuff. And we talked about new brands, new websites, maybe combining assets under a different banner. And we eventually just settled on, well, 3D Joe's is like a well-oiled machine that's already running and all the infrastructure is already in place. Why build something else from scratch kind of thing? So we have built the space and built the infrastructure for modern 3D Joe's to be built. And I'm going to say this with all candor. I'm not building it. It's not me building it. Okay. I've got my hands full with 3D Joe's and creator profiles and all the pre-production stuff that I'm doing hand in hand with Joe Declassified throughout 2022.
Not to mention you have a job.
And a job and a baby, and, and a book and a documentary.
A couple of dogs who are generally louder than they have been tonight.
A couple wiener dogs that are pretty lethargic right now. But anyway, so I'm fully tapped with the projects and the inspirations that I'm working on. And it's like I was saying earlier, I can only work in the direction that I'm inspired to work in. And I'm inspired to do this book with the fleshed out creator profiles. I'm inspired to work with Brian and like really trick it out with all these great ideas and awesome illustrative elements that it hasn't had previously with the soft covers. And I'm inspired to do pre-production with the guys at Joe Declassified on 3djoes.com. If you go to the pre-production tab and look at the figures, all those 82 and 83 figures are new for 22. I've been steadily building those pages. It's only January 28th. I've done all those pages this year. So I'm being productive and I am giving to the community these creator profiles like the Ed Morrill one that I just shared. There are other people that are engaged and enabled to build, and I sure hope that they start to build those years out. And I know that a lot of work has been done in the background, creating the kind of the infrastructure, the spreadsheets, the names, the numbers, the whatever. And these guys already have the assets. They've already done the photography. So it's a matter of building the pages, and I'm confident they're going to get it done, but we'll see.
Jump in General asks, Carson, any chance you want to design a custom vehicle to go along with that figure or those figures?
Honestly, man, I'll give a free unpaid plug here really quick to a good friend of mine, Greg Bridgman, that put something on Kickstarter 3 years ago now. Didn't successfully fund, but got a lot of good feedback and a lot of people did back it. It just didn't reach the goal. He went ahead and made that thing. So I would love to partner with him. It's called Modular Armored Range Vehicle, MARV. And it's a really cool MRAP looking vehicle with peg holes all over it. And the concept was that the peg holes would take accessory packs that would transform the vehicle into something else. And so what he showed me a few years ago was a Dreadnought version of that vehicle. If maybe I partner with him and throw some money behind it, we go ahead and make that Dreadnought version of the MARV. That thing is beautiful. So I'd love to partner with Greg. Otherwise, let's, reignite, Guy Cassidy to design another vehicle. He's a good friend of the site. We've done an awesome creator profile for him with like 200 photos on it. If you guys haven't checked that out, pre-production creator profiles, Guy Cassidy, hundreds of photos and tons of interview audio, and just go enjoy it. But yeah, sky's the limit. What I would like to focus on first though, is getting those 16 figures funded, because we've got the entire team ready to go. All that it takes is, getting them activated again. I guess it's worth mentioning the Rotello thing. I paid out of pocket for that whole thing. And I just can't afford to keep doing that for other figures.
Not 16 times, no.
Yeah, 16 times 14 grand. I'll be candid. I have diarrhea of the mouth. I just tell everything. So I've spent 14 grand on that project, right? I can't do that again and again and again. It's just not going to happen. So I can go to Kickstarter and see if you guys think it's a good idea. And if you do think it's a good idea, then it's going to happen.
And there's a lot of questions from the live crowd about availability and price points. And I'm just going to, can I put the kibosh on those now? It's just way too early in the process for that.
If we're talking about Operation Recall, that's
right.
2023.
Yeah, we're a little ways off on that.
We're going to work hand in hand. Right now, we're scoping with the same factory that does Boss Fight and Marauder, Volaverse. A lot of good stuff. Chicken Fried, a lot of good toys being made out of that factory, and we're scoping with them. But I would not be confident to say anything before summer, fall 2023, and that's still super nebulous, guys.
Right. Question: Villain Cadre plan for Operation Recall?
Absolutely, troop builders, man. I'm trying to sell 12 of each of these guys.
Right.
No, realistically, it's gonna, in full transparency, it's gonna be up to Ron and Kirk and Mark who they select. So if there's ideas for bad guys that they're inspired to make, we have to have a balance. You can't just have good guys, right? So Rottello's a good guy. He's already in the good guy camp. We're gonna offset him with bad guys, and I hope that there's some troop builders in there, like Viper style people. So Brian is knocking it out of the park.
Oh, share a compliment for Brian. Yeah, that's right.
Thanks, Adam.
That's Brian, awesome. I know what you're going through, man. I know what you're
doing. It's all right. It's all right. No, I'm just glad that Carson invited me along for the ride, honestly. It's been something like we batted ideas when we've shared and I've spec stuff for them and done stuff back and forth, and no, I just want to contribute. Really, that's what it comes down to. It's nothing about whether it has to be my work on everything or not. I just want to contribute and be a part of this, and because it's such a cool project. And I think it's very important for the industry and for the community that we archive all this stuff and we understand it. It's in a place where who knows how much has already been lost, but we're going to hopefully stop losing all this stuff to time and history and preserve it. Because you're always discovering. It's amazing that we're still 40-year-old brand and we're still 60-year-old brand and we're still discovering new things about it all the time. So
there's still a lot to uncover. And to Brian's point, they were creating toys. They weren't creating like archival, artwork that they were worried about preserving. They were worried about what toys are we making next year and the year following it. It was an endless churn of product. So if they had to paint over 1984 Duke to make 1988 Tiger Force Duke more quickly, that's what they did. They literally painted over paintings. Other stuff, the morgue where they kept things was flooded. There were executives that wanted to purge the morgue to save space, and they threw things in dumpsters, and creators went dumpster diving to save things. Things walked out of the building. All kinds of stuff, has plagued their ability to comprehensively archive this stuff. And so when I came into it with 3D Joe's a decade ago, that became pretty immediately apparent. Nobody had done this before, and it was something that I believed, like Brian said, was worthy of doing and in need of documentation. So that's when we kind of set our sights on this goal, and here it is, 8 years later, and you guys are coming out in full force to really support this thing, man. So I'm humbled and honored that we get to be the ones that do it.
Important question: where did Brian Sauer's glasses go? Contacts, LASIK, or were they just a prop this whole time? Tell us.
So he can look more designerly.
No. This is. I'm going to blame it all on COVID. My prescription's so bad it's not even worth wearing them right now. So I gotta go and get some new glasses.
Wow.
And since I haven't been working full time for 3 years, I've just never really bothered to get take any of that extra free time I've had and to go get them taken care of. So
for those that don't know, Brian successfully was able to sell, right? And so
I had my own advertising agency for almost 10 years, and I merged it with another agency and was able to take a nice buyout and and enjoy a little life of leisure.
Good job, man.
Good job.
Till Carson said, "Hey, I got this book. Can you help? Hey, you got a week? You can help me out on this project?"
A week,
sure. A week, yeah.
a week turns into 2022.
I always tell people, selling out's the dream, man.
Oh, isn't it? It is.
My life's goal is to be a has-been.
Right.
Like it just you did something that was pretty cool that people really liked, and then after that, you're kind of playing with house money because everybody will always look at that and go, yeah, he did that. And he's not doing anything since then. So whatever.
Right.
Fine. Great.
It's funny you guys would say that in like 1994, just 5 years after the Hasbro thing, them and CLS&M split ways. Ed Morrill retired, and he's still living in the house that G.I. Joe built. That's what he calls it, not me. So yeah, that's the dream, right? Bust your hump, put in some long hours, make some money, and eventually sell your shares. So.
Well, and then you get to come back around and do this stuff, like
do what you want.
Lining up these projects. Like, it's amazing. Yes. Like, I basically was not actively looking for much projects in the last couple of years, and then turned to the calendar and I started looking for stuff. And in the last 3 months or so, I mean, there's another toy line that I worked on a logo for. There's another toy line I got to work on another logo for, which I just had a conversation today about doing all the package design for it. Word Burglar has got his album dropping, his Bandcamp coming up for the MacGuffin device kit dropping, which I got to do all the artwork for that. Excellent. So, I mean, like, it's been a wonderful couple months of doing a bunch of nerd geek projects that I absolutely love. And then there's actually real client work too that pays money. Like, it's awesome. Right. Yeah. So no, it's turning out pretty well. So back to the glasses thing. Yeah, I gotta go. I gotta get my glasses pretty soon. So yeah, I need to get the script fixed and start wearing them. I think
the live crowd is petering out a little bit, so let's go ahead and move into what we got in this week.
All right,
Brian, while you're stumbling around, you get anything cool in the last couple of weeks maybe that show off for the fan?
Ooh, well, he's downstairs right now, but I did get myself
a wonderful empty box.
A wonderful empty box. Yes. No, I actually
his eyes are really bad.
I have scored really well on Alley Vipers and bats lately, so I got a small army massing downstairs on the dining room table that'll be moving upstairs here shortly.
Have you been finding those in the wild, or are you pre-ordering?
I have found the vast majority of them in the wild. I have found.
Really?
I've gotten a few verses in the mail, but no, like, I've been like, Des Moines has got a really good fertile ground for targets. I want to say we've got like 5 within the immediate metro.
Awesome.
And we are probably in the immediate metro less than 300,000. So then you go and you got another one up in Ames, and so say 6-ish. If you go to Fort Dodd, you want to drive an hour away. That's 7. So yeah, there's quite a few. So yeah, luckily, and their trucks are kind of the pattern, the routine, where to go look and stuff like that. But yeah, it's not too bad. So nice. I got those. I got the wave 3 of the Masters of the Universe, the new one. I can't even remember what what is that? Revelations. Yeah.
Based on the animated series. Yeah.
Yeah. The Fisto with the diecast fist. That's kind of nice.
Cool.
So yeah, that was me.
Awesome. Carson, what'd you get in, man?
I just literally today got in my 3D printed accessories. So the guy that mailed these to me,
$14,000 on those. 14
Stop
grand.
it. Only I'm allowed to say it. No. Anyway, these accessories went to my old house in Raleigh.
Oh,
yeah. I was a little worried for the last week. I got the notification that they were being forwarded, and so I was like, okay, maybe they'll get here. So those came in today. So I'm happy.
All right.
Yeah.
Joe Colton.
Yes.
You got to talk now.
I know. Okay, so you all know how I'm obsessed with Christmas, right?
Yes. You have a closet? Is it a closet or a room dedicated to it?
The house.
Yeah,
you have a whole. You don't have a whole house full of Christmas, really?
Look, Carson, I have been in her house within 2 weeks of Christmas a couple of years ago.
I have 13 trees in the house.
When it's all put away throughout the calendar year, how much?
Oh yeah, it's in the garage.
It's just a garage full.
Yeah, it's a garage. Yeah. I was like, what are you talking about?
No, I know you decorate the whole house, but how much storage space do you have to put to it?
Oh, it's intense.
Yeah.
So, I saw online that somebody was doing themed trees, and Maggie and Julie, who have been teaching me Disney, they've like had me sit down and watch Disney movies. I haven't watched all of them. There's a lot. It's a lot of crying they do. I don't get it, but whatever, it's fine. So I'm doing 2 trees next year, but I have to plan. So back in the day, a lot of people don't know, but there are G.I. Joe ornaments, and I own all of them that are licensed. And you can find them every so often. I should do like a special on just fucking G.I. Joe ornaments. But I started collecting stuff for this Disney tree, and because I don't like, not that I don't like princesses, I'm just not a princessy person. So I'm doing the Evil Queen's tree. So I bought my first thing to convert to putting on the tree, and then I have to have the dwarves. So there's Dopey with like these jewels over his eyes. So I've got those 2 things that have just come in, and now I'm getting custom made ornaments for G.I. Joe stuff, so I can have a full G.I. Joe tree next year. It's a full year of planning. Like,
are you going back to 60s Joes too? Are you doing 60s and 70s G.I. Joe ornaments? Because there's a lot from that era.
Yeah. So I got the lunchbox, the thermos, and something else recently. So yeah.
Wow.
Nice. That'll be fun to see, and you should do an episode of that. Especially on that. It's the What's on Joe Mind Christmas special. Yeah.
Just for the record, it is January 28th, and she is planning next year's Christmas.
It's a lot. This year's Christmas.
It
takes a while, right? Like, it's especially when like people don't understand. Like, I'm an intense collector. I might not say a lot, but I'm like super intense. So
here's a question that is. Did Joe ever show off the red ninja tree on the show? No, I think the red ninja tree is still in its conceptual stages.
Yes, because I want to like have like ice and snow and like do a diorama in the tree. I haven't figured out how the tree will not fall over.
We have to find you like a red plastic tree. Like, that's what we need to do.
No, it's got to be white because I want it to be the mountain so I could build a temple and like.
All right, this is already better than I could have hoped. I like this a lot.
Diorama tree.
Yeah, I dig this. I didn't get anything in this week. I had way too much else going on this week, so maybe next time around. So let's move into shout outs.
Yes.
Brian Sauer, who are we shouting out to?
Oh boy, who am I shouting out today? Wow, I had to go first, didn't I? Yeah. Well, Carson. We'll go the opposite. Carson, because he's right here. Because he's bringing me along for this wonderful ride for sure.
Nice,
for sure, Carson.
No doubt, man.
Probably should shout out Travis Weber and all the rest of the Codename Iowa folks and crew and stuff like that, and then everybody else who has my wife. Oh, she's not listening, so it's fine. It's fine. She's not even in the. She's not even in the house right now, so we're good. We're good. That's fine. Shout out to the dog, Monty, for keeping me company all week. Yes. Actually, a shout out to all the backers to the book. This is awesome to see this happening. To put their faith in me, Carson, to put his faith in me to assemble this monstrosity and to put Carson a little further into debt. So let's go.
I kind of just want to put a GoPro on Brian and watch him like just do things to Carson, like sending him like just snippets of like ideas and watching like Carson like twitch.
I didn't even get a reply back from the wall or the wrapping paper idea.
That's true. It's true. I read that text and I moved on.
Yeah.
Were you like, no?
No.
I mean, no.
I'm still a little concerned about the estimate that's getting ready to come for the expanded book size, the giant slipcase box, the ribbon, the inserts that show the process, the 10 print set. Like, Jesus, we need to slow down.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, it's very exciting time.
Very
exciting time.
Yeah.
It's taken you only this long to learn how to say no to some of these projects, Carson. That's the amusing part of it all. Only this long.
Right.
Can you
known you for years now? But, only this
Probably
long.
not. I'm not the one to train that. I'm the worst.
I was going to say it's really interesting because yes, I'm used to having a staff that would come up with ideas to me, and I'd find creative ways to say no. Now I'm not worried about it. I'm just going to keep throwing ideas out. Like
there you go.
And it is. It's like, oh, that's crazy. We can't do that. I'm like, oh, sure. Let me tell you how we can do this. You know, like,
it's his own personal version of Carson's mouth diarrhea.
Yeah, exactly. So
just keep sending him wacky ideas. Like I just
please do. And honestly, like the Kickstarter backers are doing it too. So
yeah.
Can I segue to knock mine out while they're front of mind for me?
Yeah.
Okay, you were next, so go for it.
Awesome.
Greeting cards.
So we are at 1,594 people that I need to thank. We're almost to 1,600. I am so just like the first update I sent was like, wow, today was overwhelming because it truly was. I've given 10 years of my life to being crazy about documenting this stuff, and it's never gone gangbusters like this. And it is just an amazing feeling. Thank you to all 1,594 of you for putting your hard-earned money into our crazy ideas and helping us bring this thing to life. So thank you to the 1,594. And those of you throughout the rest of the week that are going to jump on in, because we got through Sunday night to get this thing fully funded.
Through next Sunday night.
This coming Sunday. Yes,
we got correct. We've got a full week plus a weekend.
We've got 9 days. Yep. So thank you to all of you that have already jumped in. And please, if you're on the fence, we're going to make this worth your while. So please jump in. Also, thank you to every one of the creators that have believed in this crazy kid's vision and helped me bring these things to life. They've all invited me into their homes. We've broken bread together. We've had long conversations, some in front of cameras, some on audio. And that's not easy for a lot of people to do. And they tear down those walls, they tear down those barriers. And we've got friendships at this point. And, you know, a lot of this stuff that I've been doing, I couldn't have done without them kind of letting me in and forming those friendships. So shout out to the creators of G.I. Joe for making it what it is, and for, inviting me into their lives to help document their work. So that's been amazing. Shout out to What's on Joe Mind. Of course, man, you guys have been there for me. Since early on in 2012, when I started 3D Joe's, you guys helped me break the news. And here you are still helping me break the news on the next iteration of everything that I've been working on. So thank you to you guys.
Always, man. This
we are always here to help.
I appreciate that.
If this is not your online home, we have done something wrong.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
We love you, and anytime you need anything, if we can help you in any way, we will. So.
I do appreciate it.
I mean, Brian, you're in that boat too, man. I don't want you to feel left out.
It sounds like we got another line of credit with these two.
You didn't give us a shout out, so we didn't.
I thought Carson did. Carson did. You know, we can't do all the same people.
Carson gets the first round of love, and then you get the leftover love.
Well, you can, it's fine. It's wherever the way, as long as the money's coming to pay for these ideas, box of shorts and G-strings in everyone's one size fits all in their box.
I gotta say, shout out to Chad Huckle before I forget it. This guy's given thousands of hours. If you look at Collectible Spectacle, the video series with Mark Belomo and Air Devon, he shot it and edited it. If you look at Mark Belomo's book, Chad Huckle's credited in it. If you look at yojo.com, Chad Huckle's got photos all over the vehicle section. Mm-hmm. Like, this guy is literally a huge creative powerhouse that contributes to G.I. Joe projects all the time and is one of the unsung heroes. And so I always try to give him his due. Also, shout out to Brian Sauer for coming in and helping me really turn this thing into something special for all of you. So like he said, we've been talking about this for years. So it's been in the works and he knew it was coming, but to be here and at this point where we're brainstorming ideas and going broke with the printer, it's a really exciting time for me. And I don't know, shout out to all my friends and family, the Triangle Joes, my old community of guys from my home that I moved away from. I miss you, Triangle Joes. Hopefully I'll find something like that up here in Rochester. So if you guys are up in upstate New York near the North Wall, keeping those Canadians out, give me a shout.
Citizenship now.
Yeah, you're a dual citizen, right?
Yeah.
You're dual. Yeah. So no, seriously though, shout out to my friends and family for supporting my crazy hobby for this last decade. You know what I mean?
And then so.
Yeah.
This is just the stuff that's on the record.
Oh, this is just like since 3D Joe's. Yeah, exactly. I was a nerd fanboy for many years before that.
Joe Colton.
Yes.
Shout it out.
I'd like to thank both our guests for coming on and giving us a scoop on the actual prototypes. That was really cool. I am so proud of you, Carson. Like, beyond proud of you for, like, you've done a great job. I can't wait for your next project after this, which there will be, because you have this love and passion for G.I. Joe, and you've become a big part of the community. So you're being the archivist of G.I. Joe community.
It means a lot coming from you, because we've been friends all this time since my first convention.
Yeah.
You guys have always welcomed me. My finest family. I even dressed up as Lieutenant Falcon and Tan Grunt, and have been part of that tribe. This community is great, man. You've got, there's so many different creative people that make you feel at home, and you were one of the first people to make me feel at home. So, well,
if you ever need anything, you are always welcome back here. Both of you, if we can do anything to help, like, let us know, and we'll see what we can do. Other shout out is to my mom. She has COPD, and so she went in for her test, and she lasted an hour and a half on the breathing test. So she's doing really well. Awesome. So she was a little depressed during COVID, like the max of COVID, and wouldn't do movements and exercises. And so now I got to see her after 2 years, and like that gave her the push to start up again. And so she went in and did that. So I'm very proud of her. And I'm going to give a shout out to Maggie for making sure that we're booked for our cruise, for Star Trek cruise next month. And we are taking William with us because he needs supervision.
Because it was all going too well, and you needed to make some kind of mistake.
Right. And to my husband, who has faith in me always and is super supportive. So that's it. I got it.
Good job.
Is faith a strong enough word?
I mean, he didn't know what he was getting into before he married me. He really did.
Did he really?
No, he still is fascinated by the closet that I had called Narnia, with all my collectibles on the back, like inside the closet. It was like a wall, like probably like a 30-foot wall of all closet. It was all my collectibles, and in the front of it were clothes. So he didn't understand, like, I had bins of like toys. And then
was that to protect them, or why were they hidden?
Because I had no room. I had like an apartment of 864 square feet, and I had stuffed fucking toys everywhere I could.
Tip jar.
I even had a closet that was behind a chair that nobody went into, because the moment I moved the chair, the closet door wouldn't close properly from all of the bins and boxes of just toys. And I had actually lifted boxes to slide other boxes so I could get use the full capacity of that closet.
I think I spent around $1,500 on containers for this last move. I just got a basement with container. There's a row that I can walk through them. It's like Raiders of the Lost Ark, just toy container.
Yeah. It's at the point now where like, if I ever found the space to display everything, I wouldn't know what to do with all the containers.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it's
luckily they stack within each other, so they break down pretty good.
Sure, but it's still a lot of containers.
When you've got 30, it doesn't matter, Carson.
A lot of containers.
All you would look at is those empty containers and say, "We need to fill these with more toys."
I need to fill these.
Yeah.
13 and down.
Look at all this room we got now. Let's go shopping.
But my shout outs, of course, to the folks who join us every Friday night at 9 p.m. We thank you so much for making the live stream experience a good one. If you're catching us on replay, shout out goes to you too. Thank you for helping grow the channel. Remember, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please go down and do that. Give us a thumbs up, like the video, subscribe, do all the YouTube stuff, share us, leave a comment, a big boy comment, not just the one over in the live chat. We need like real comments, help distribute the video to other people. It's again, it's great to have you all along for the ride. I want to give a shout out to our wonderful sponsors at Kokomo Toys. We're going to have a moment here and sing the Kokomo Toys theme song. Yes, you are, Joe Colton. Yes, you are, because that's what sponsors do. It's
Kokomo
Toys.
Kokomo
Toys. See, Carson's actually like trying to have a tune. I'm just like, I have no tune.
There's no tune.
Oh, no tune. I wanna go. Okay, I'm gonna get you blocked again.
I mean, I minored in music. I could probably put together a jingle, but it's no fun. That's no fun.
That's where we ought to go.
Give a shout out to the gentleman on the bottom row, Carson Metaxas, Brian Sauer. Thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate all the energy and effort and love that you put into every project you bring our way. Want to give a shout out to Racktime Rob, who was bumped at the last minute. This is going to be his fifth week in a row.
You don't get a T-shirt.
I didn't realize that by bringing Brian, we were bumping Rob. I'm sorry.
That's fine. That's it's all right.
It's really
He's
fine.
okay. I think Racktime Rob is not the extrovert that the rest of us are. So
okay,
it's probably all right.
Yeah,
it's okay.
Well, I've enjoyed him being on the last 4 weeks, so we'll see you next week.
You guys have a project. He's just over there reading comics, so it's fine.
All right, we'll see you next week.
Right. He'll be back. And of course, a shout out to the honcho in my old stomping grounds of St. Louis, Missouri. He's out there for the Royal Rumble. We expect him to be entrant number 23 tomorrow. So keep an eye out. He will probably be eliminated by Kane.
By a Kane.
Well, I mean, he'll be walking with a Kane afterwards. But slide into the ring, clothesline from Kane, the honcho on his way home.
Oh.
I just really like the bet is what will he use as his entrance music? But that's it.
Toys theme song.
Kokomo Toys.
He does sing the jingle rather robustly.
Yeah.
Nice.
But
out of tune.
He tries.
Look,
for effort.
He puts in more effort than Joe Colton does. So that's all.
I don't want to ruin the jingle.
No, whatever. Stop. Miss, I don't want people to look at me when I'm not being weird. Forget you. But that's it. Thank you so much for joining us here on What's on Joe Mind. Be sure to join us again next week at 9 p.m. Remember, if you haven't gotten yourself vaccinated, get yourself vaccinated. Get your booster shot. Wear a mask when you're out in public. Things are rough out there right now with COVID-19. We are still in the middle of a pandemic. We don't get to get out of it just because we're tired of it. Believe me, we're all tired of it. But we also don't want to get sick and die. So please do your best to keep yourself safe and keep the rest of us safe as well. It doesn't take much. Just do what we've all been trying to get you to do. And for those of you who've been doing it, good job. Keep up the good work. For my guest, Carson Metaxas and Brian Sauer, for my co-host, Joe Colton, I'm Mike Irizarry. Have a great evening, and we will catch you next week on the What's on Joe Mind team stream. Have a great weekend.
Yo, Joe.